Think it is. So yeah, we're live. Let me make sure I push record. I always forget. All right, guys, happy Friday afternoon. Thank God it's Friday. We have Richard Gomez back. I think you've been with me on a live, I think 5 times by now, but we're here to celebrate another milestone in your journey as a triathlete for the last 8 years. And I wanted to actually have you introduce yourself again because there's a lot of new people that are following me that don't know you. So introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Richard Gomez, 50 years old. Like Aaron said, I've been doing triathlon since 2017. Been with Full Circle since end of 2018, beginning of 2019. I'm a father. I'm married, have 2 kids, 16-year-old and a 14-year-old daughter, so that's why I'm bald. And
What's
I
your
own a
company?
construction. I'm
Your
sorry?
your company. Yeah. Shout out to your
Yeah,
company.
I own a construction company in Hialeah. We specialize in healthcare and commercial work. Nothing with a doorbell. Don't do anything residential. And I just finished my second full Ironman at 50.
Yeah. So I want to go back a little bit to why did you reach out to me? Because a lot of people don't know that story and it kind of sets you up for your triathlon journey. So yeah, we're not going to go through every detail, but I do want to talk about that because that was kind of a really big milestone, I believe, in your journey as a triathlete.
Right. So how I met you was it's like I mentioned, I started doing triathlons, doing little sprints and Olympics in 2017.
And what got
Uh,
you into it? Like, why did you want to do a try?
So when I was younger, I was a cyclist, and back in around that time, 2016, 2017, somebody got me back into cycling, and it was some of their friends were triathletes, and they talked me into doing a sprint,
Okay, cool.
and that was it. I kind of got into it, and then my godson's father, 2018, convinced me to sign up for the Augusta Half Ironman, which I ended up doing, and I finished. I did fairly well, but I had a very bad experience. I was sick to my stomach. I fainted, and I didn't feel well, and basically decided, yeah, this isn't Ironman isn't for me. And then one day, sitting on my couch, I got the inspiration to do a full and decided if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And I had met Erin through my sister-in-law. And one of the things that Erin had mentioned to me when we first met was regarding her nutrition plan.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I had such a bad experience at Augusta was I suffered from severe acid reflux and I was on prescription meds. And I couldn't keep anything down while I was doing the race.
Yeah.
So my stomach was turned upside down. So
Yeah.
when I heard about Aaron's nutrition plan, I figured, you know what, if I'm going to do the full iron, the first thing I need to do is figure out how to get my stomach right. And Aaron's words to me were if you join my nutrition plan, I guarantee you in 8 weeks you'll never take another heartburn pill again. And it's been 5 years, 6 years. I haven't had a heartburn medication since I met Erin. And my promise to her was if you get me off of meds, I will join your triathlon club. So
Yep.
here we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, so I had to earn your trust basically through that first 8-week program. And you mentioned it wasn't the easiest thing to implement all the little pieces, but do you think it was worth it?
No, definitely. I mean, it's I mean, I finished. This is my second Ironman. I finished, and I walked to Margaritaville both times and sat down and had dinner. I was fine. My stomach was fine. I felt great. I mean, I was tired. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I
of
was
course.
beat up, but I felt great. My nutrition was on. I want to say my nutrition was probably even better on this race than it was the first time.
Okay, cool.
And at no point was I stressed. At no point was I dehydrated. At no point was I hungry.
Yeah.
I knew, I had my nutrition dialed.
Yeah.
I know that I had the benefit of already have done an Ironman and
Yeah.
I had focused a lot of my attention on the nutrition. So I know that I knew my nutrition plan was going to work, but it's always nice when it actually comes to fruition,
Yes.
especially when you're going to the aid stations and hearing people in the background
Like,
vomiting up their life and suffering.
right. Yeah, so we overcame that hurdle right away off the bat. And the cool thing is, Richard, is that of all my athletes that I have in full circle coaching, you just show up. And if I, suggest something to you, you try it. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. We find out something different. But I just wanted to know, like, you didn't come from like a healthy childhood eating and stuff like that. There was a period in your life that you were overweight, right? Like, so how did you
Yes.
get to the place of even, because when I met you, you were not extremely overweight at all or anything, a couple pounds you had to lose, and you don't weigh yourself ever. That's one of your rules. But like, how did that happen when you went from being extremely overweight to like where you are?
Well, I mean, it actually kind of happened twice. So
Okay.
at 23, I was weighing 250 pounds and eating and drinking excessively
Yeah.
and working excessively. And one day it was one of those moments that I was like, if I keep burning the candle at both ends, I'm not gonna make it to 30.
Right.
So I made it a point, I think I was like 23, 24. I
Mhm.
started exercising and getting in shape. And during that time, I started riding bike and fell in love with it.
That's awesome.
So cycling became a big part of how I stayed in shape.
Right.
When I had kids, it kind of got put on the back burner, and I
Mhm.
put on never got back to that point, but I put on some more weight. And then once my daughter was born and was a little older, that's when I met up with this crew that ended up getting me into triathlons, and they convinced me to get back on my bike.
Cool.
And that was it's just a matter of I have I don't know how to translate it into English, but I'm a glotón in
What does that mean?
Spanish,
What does that mean?
a sloth, or no, a glutton, not a sloth. I don't
A
know how to do
glut.
things
Okay.
in moderation.
Okay. But yeah, so that's really, really important point, because it's not like you've been like so 100% strict, even training with me this whole time. You come in and out of training and you have your bigger goals like Ironman, but when you come back, you're like 100% driven. So we're not going to go over the first race, except for you did Ironman Florida how long ago? The first time.
2020, so 5 years ago.
And I mean, let's touch on it a little bit, because it was a special situation because there was no one there. It was COVID and you had zero spectators. I had two athletes racing that day, and you guys both had phenomenal races despite the fact that there was no support whatsoever. But just go ahead and just talk about, briefly that race and how well it went and your time.
So yeah, I mean, like you said, it was. I kind of jumping forward to this race. I will tell you, and you mentioned it a lot of it when leading up to my first race, and even in this one is don't forget about the getting your mind ready for the Ironman blues, which is after effect. I will tell you, this time after compared to last time was a much funner experience. It was literally. I think it was 1,800 people, and there was a full and a half
At the same
going
time.
on at the same time.
Yeah.
And you would basically finish the race into darkness. They handed you a bag and said
Goodbye.
goodbye.
So
Uh,
sad. So sad.
so in that aspect, that part of it was not a good experience, but just like this time, I mean, I was blessed that I had incredible weather both races.
Yeah.
No mechanicals, no incidents. I will say my mental strain was a little bit more on the first one,
Yeah.
even though I was 8 minutes faster than this time.
What was your time on the first one?
Mentally, I was at no point that I ever asked myself, why the fuck did I do this? Uh,
That's surprising. You usually ask that at least one time during an Ironman.
Now this time, and believe it or not, it was my big struggle on the first one, I would say, was the bike, because it was the one thing that I felt was my strongest part. And not that I did poorly on it, it's just the one part that I struggled most mentally. I was at the point of, you know, walking, getting off my bike and just throwing it into a lake because I was so tired of pedaling. Which I
Just
made it a big point for the three boys. that were with us, I kept telling them, like, guys, you're gonna hit a wall. You're gonna want to throw your bike into the water. Just keep going.
Right.
And we actually got lucky because in the first race there was the last 10 miles was pure headwind.
Yeah.
This time there wasn't. It was actually a little bit of a tailwind at the end, so
Yeah.
it made the finish a little bit easier.
And what was your
Uh,
time on the first race back in 2020?
12:48,
2:48. I mean,
12,
12:48. 12:48.
12:48.
12:48.
This
Okay,
time
cool.
was 12:40, 12:56.
Yeah. And the training was a little bit difficult too, just because we were like everybody was under lockdown and we didn't have as much support in our group even to help you race, help you train. So, I believe that's part of it. I feel like this time when you race, you had more support the whole time during training.
Yeah,
Um,
but the first time I didn't have two surgeries 3 months before the race.
Well, you had different setbacks, and we're going to talk about that because that's important. Okay, so we were so happy about that race. We actually went live. You can watch that recording. It's on my YouTube channel. And the big thing that I wanted to celebrate Richard about was the fact that he used the numbers that we set for him in training based on his testing. And he performed like clockwork. Like everything, the swim time, the bike time, the run time. You never looked at your speed one time on the bike and you hit your bike time exactly on that race. So can you speak to that part of like the coaching, how you really apply the training and the numbers to your race so that you have a great outcome pretty much every time?
Yeah, I mean, so like you said, I as we go along, as I get closer and closer to the race, I'm always monitoring my zone 2 and my zone 3 pace, and as as when you get close to the end, I more focus on the lower zones, just as far as from an endurance standpoint.
Of course.
But in the early training, you're always pushing and seeing how much you could raise your threshold to see where you could get to get your timing. It's always you're always racing against yourself.
Yeah, but like
And
we don't only train slow, right? We
right,
train you. We use VO2 max, we use lactate threshold because we're trying to get your zone 2 to be as high as it can be for the amount of time we're training for based on the date of your race, right? So it's not
right,
like you're just out there riding zone 2 all the time. Yes, of course that happens, but in the beginning it's all about strength and speed, honestly, to get that number as high as possible. And you were a lot older this time. Well, I mean, not a lot older, but you are older this time. And you did take some time off, and you also had some setbacks for this race. But I
yes,
just appreciate that if I give you a workout, it's green. Like your Training Peaks is the most green of any athlete I ever coach. So I just want to say I appreciate that you trust the process, and the results usually do speak for themselves. So
yeah.
let's talk about this race, the one you just did. It was last weekend or the weekend before.
No, last
It
week,
was last weekend, right? Yeah. Time
less than a week ago.
less than a week ago. Wow, time is flying. Okay, cool. So let's talk about it. So we were totally on track for Ironman Maryland,
Yes.
right? And you were dialing in. You were the only person doing that race, but we knew we had a group doing Ironman Florida. So tell us what happened. Like, what if you're willing to share? You don't have
No,
to share
yeah,
all.
I had back in end of June, beginning of July. Maryland was literally the weekend of my 50th birthday, September 21st.
Okay.
And back in end of June, early July, I developed a cyst and I had to have it drained. And it wasn't that big of a setback. I was off a couple weeks,
Right.
and then so August. I kept training in July. I felt like something wasn't right.
Right.
End of July, I got another cyst and it got really badly infected.
Mhm.
Met with a specialist. They told me I could still do my race. They gave me some treatments, and then 3 weeks before Maryland, 3 or 4 weeks before Maryland, the doctor's like, "Yeah, you gotta cancel. You
Okay.
gotta go in for surgery." I went in, got everything cleaned up, and he told me, he's like, give it a month. If you feel okay, give it a shot and see what you could do. So I moved to Florida, and I kept swimming, I kept biking. I'm sorry, I kept swimming, I kept running, and then stayed off the bike for a month and was able to start training again.
Yeah.
Yeah, a month before the race.
And you actually had two bike accidents as well on this journey.
Yes. Well, no, the first one was a long time ago. The first one was after Alcatraz,
Oh,
but yeah, and it wasn't really an accident. It was, it's funny. It's one of those things. It was the weekend before I left to Panama City,
okay.
and it was raining,
Okay.
and I was by South Miami, and I said, you know what, this is stupid. I'm this close to the race. It's raining. I should turn around. And I'm like, ah, screw it. I'm wet already. And of course, I hit a freaking metal plate and my bike went flying. Fortunately, I mean, I just got some bruises and kept going. I finished the ride. Me and Eddie ended up doing 80 miles that day.
Okay.
But yeah, I did the race with a few bumps and bruises.
Yes. Okay, cool. So let's move to race day. You were dialed in. Do you feel like the race was affected by that month off the bike? Do you feel like you were affected by that at
No,
all?
so so starting at the beginning, and I mentioned the nutrition. My nutrition was on point. I mean, I had not one issue with my nutrition. It was spot on, and no reflux, no nothing. I was great. Probably the best swim of my life. I did it. My pace
You
was
know, your pace was
143.
143. Richard,
Yeah.
what the hell? Okay, so I want to point that out because in training, you were like hitting like 2 minutes, 2:03, but you refused, even though I suggested it like 5 times, you refused to do practice in your wetsuit. You're like, I know how to swim in my wetsuit. I don't need any practice in my wetsuit. But for me, when I saw that number, I was like, holy crap. Like that was so fucking impressive. I'm so proud of you for that swim.
Yeah. So I mean, the swim was, and again, it didn't hurt that it was ideal conditions.
Right.
There was a little bit of current, but that's about it. I think one little sting on my foot from a
Oh yeah,
jellyfish,
was there
but
jellyfish? Okay, I
not
didn't
a
even know there
lot,
was
but there was
jellyfish.
some.
Okay.
And that transition was fine. I actually bitched about the way they did transition, and it turned out to be great.
What were you
Uh,
what were you complaining about?
so they don't let you set your stuff up at the bike. You put it in a
Oh,
bag.
yes.
They give you your bag, and then you got to go to a changing tent and change there.
Right.
Both of my transitions were at 7 minutes, which
Perfect.
was
Yeah.
perfect. So on the bike, uh, cadence 87, power was 120, exactly what I wanted. But uh,
So notice he didn't say speed, you guys. He didn't look at
I don't have speed on my bike. I took it off 3 years ago.
awesome.
But this was the one
I wish you had.
flaw I had, and I don't know if it happened from the beginning. I don't know
Right.
if it happened during the race, but I did notice that my cadence is typically on a full will be around 83 to 85.
Uh-huh.
I was at 87.
Wow.
Uh,
I think
I
if you
felt like
had,
my
yeah,
legs were
yeah.
spinning a lot, and when I looked down at mile 80, guess what I noticed? I
What?
was in the small chain,
Oh, Richard.
but I don't know when it happened.
Oh shit.
I don't know if it was because they have those repeaters at
Uh-huh.
one point during Panama City. I don't
Wait,
know if it was
what's a repeater? I don't
the
know.
repeating bumps,
Oh, to help bring awareness so you're when you're driving. Okay, got it.
right. I don't know if it happened then. I'm pretty sure I set my gears the way I wanted it to when I set up my bike,
Right.
but I didn't realize till mile 80 that I was spinning way too much.
You
So
I believe you would have reached your goal of breaking your other race if you had those RPMs. I really
yeah.
do because
Well, I think I don't think it affected my bike time because I looked at
I think it affected your
I
speed for
my
sure.
well no, I was at 18.3, and I think last time I was at 18.5. It
But
wasn't
if you
I was
look at
under six
training peaks,
hours. I was at 5:40 on
but if
my
you
bike
look at
time was
if you look at
great.
training peaks, it said you averaged 19 miles an hour. Look in your training
Well,
peaks right now. That's what it said.
I went off of I went off of sorry, my wife is traveling and she just texted me.
Okay,
Um I went off of what the Ironman app said. So
I know.
yeah, I was there. I was close to 19 miles an hour, which is
You were right
where
there.
I should have
Yeah.
been. But when I got off the bike, my legs were I felt my legs a little bit more tired than I was expecting.
Really?
So I think
You
it
would think,
affected me more on the run than
but
anything else.
you'd think that higher
Cadence,
RPMs would
higher
be,
cadence.
yeah, higher cadence would give you less heavy legs.
Hmm, I I I don't know. I have short legs. I guess I'm used to more power than speed.
All right.
But
All
anyway, I
right.
mean,
All
and
right.
again, my run, I didn't walk once. I only walked the 8 stations.
Yeah.
I started at my 11:30 pace and I felt better at 12. And I just said, screw it. I'm not going to suffer.
Right.
I'm going to be close to where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I will say my dedication to my old technology cost me my 8 minutes because I'm always afraid that my dinosaur watch is going to run out of batteries.
Show them the watch. You
I
have
don't
it.
have it. I don't
Oh
have it.
man.
But so what I do is I swim with my watch, then I turn it off. I use my bike computer for the bike, and then I turn my watch back on the run. So I didn't know how close I was. I knew more or less
Right.
I knew I was under 13.
Right.
I just didn't know how close I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And no, I found my pace and I was putting along. And it was funny because at the end there was like 4 or 5 guys that they kept passing me and then I
Uh-huh.
would pass them. And they kept passing me and then I would pass them. And finally they came next to me like, you know what, we're just gonna stand next to you because you haven't your pace hasn't changed for the past 12 miles and we keep trying to go faster and then get tired. So we're just
Right.
gonna run with you. And I go, well, just so you know, 2 miles in, I'm gonna take off.
Right.
So,
And
you
did
know,
you?
yeah, I mean, well, take off for Richard takeoff. Yeah, I probably finished at 11-minute miles, but yeah, I didn't stop at the last service at the last aid station, and I just pushed a little bit at the end
Right.
to to get through. But like I said, I finished the race, walked to my car, put my bike away, and sat down and had my beer and my burger.
Yay! Awesome. Well, I'm super duper proud of you once again, just for having the most stable race, right? So your ego doesn't get in your way as far as you had the time goal, but you kind of just like wanted to just experience it and feel good more than the time goal. And I do believe if you had been aware, it wouldn't have been an effort physically for you to get. It was only like a few minutes off, right? What was your time on this one?
12:56, 8 minutes off.
8 minutes off. Honestly, I truly believe between the RPMs on the bike and maybe just having that bit of knowledge on the run, you probably could have pushed a little bit sooner than the last 3 miles to get that goal. So for in my mind, it was pretty much the same. But congratulations! What an amazing 50th birthday present, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was nice. The little bit of ego I have was inflated. The fact that I started last as far as for it was because it was me and Gio, Eddie, and Carlos, a bunch of 20-year-olds.
They're 23 and 24-year olds, you guys.
Yeah,
Train.
so they started before me and I passed them all on the bike. Carlos and I finished neck and neck.
Right.
And then he's like, let's go, let's run. And I was like,
Bye.
you go have fun. I'll see you at the bar.
Right. That's awesome. Congratulations. I did also want to mention that this is going to be your 6th year coming up in March with us at Ultimate Tri Camp. And I just wanted to speak to why do you keep coming back?
Well, I mean, like it's always a good way because as much as I try to come Thanksgiving the next 2 3 months, I'm limited to how much I train and I kind of relax a little and enjoy the holidays.
Yeah,
So it's always nice
you
that
deserve it. You
February,
deserve it.
March. Right. It's February, March. It's a good kickstart to get my butt back in gear. And I mean, regardless of tri camp or not, I like to go to Claremont at least once or twice a year to ride bike. So it gives me that excuse. And the fact that you could dedicate, a whole week to just training and doing two-a-days. And it's aside from all that, it's fun. It's a group of people, getting together, training, going out to dinner, socializing, disconnecting a little bit. It's
Yeah.
always a good experience.
Are there
So
any other aspects of camp that you like? Of course, we're training. We're doing 2-a-days every single day. But we do have some special things that happen there that maybe
Yeah,
you
I mean,
don't.
a lot of, I mean, you talk a lot about the nutrition, you bring experts in. Like the last couple of years, you've had the people that, and I can't remember the name of the company that sell that magnesium cream
Yeah.
that's freaking amazing. You have pro triathletes come in. And one of the things I tell anybody that asks me about, not so much triathlons, but about doing Ironman, I tell them, I said, look, if you could do a half iron, or even if you could kick ass on Olympic, you could do a full Ironman physically. The
Yeah.
tough part is getting your mind around it. And you have the guys from Mental Grit come and talk. And that's what I tell them. I was like, the hardest part of the race is not the physical part. That's the easy part. The hardest part is the mental part.
Yeah.
The grind gets you training, and then the day of the race, there's points where you're like, why the hell am I doing this?
Right.
So that aspect of it, I think, is something that you miss out on a lot when you do like I did for my first track, my first half iron, that
Yeah.
I downloaded a spreadsheet from the Ironman website. That's how I trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, physically I was able to do it, but mentally I had no idea what the hell I was getting myself into.
Right. So yeah, we just cover all the aspects of triathlon in that 1 week, including amazing recovery mindset for sure. But also you get a ton of fitness that 1 week. And it's just a great way to kick off the season. So we're super excited. It's going to be my 16th year having Ultimate Tri Camp. And we do have a couple spots left if you guys are interested. But Richard, is there anything else you'd like to share? I want to know, like, you already have you decided about Alcatraz? Because what's next? I want to know what's
Right
next.
now, that's the plan. I haven't officially committed. Because my wife and my daughter can't go, but my son says that he'll go with me, so I may do it.
Okay,
Next year, I mean, next year, I definitely, it's more from a family standpoint than anything. I promised them I would only stick to short course.
cool. Yeah.
Just because of training, I mean, the
Yeah, it takes
training
a lot.
is a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking to that. But I do want to do one cool race, so I'm thinking Alcatraz might be it.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm sorry, you lost me. What was your question?
What was next? So you answered the
Yeah,
question.
that's it. I mean, right now I don't have any plans to do another Ironman, but we'll see what the future holds. I haven't said never.
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, both of my Ironmen have ended up in Florida. My ultimate goal was always Lake Placid. That was my goal. I don't know if I'm ever going to do it, but I found Maryland, which I thought was a cool race, and that got scrapped. So maybe I still might have one other one in me.
Okay, that sounds
If
good.
I ever qualify for Kona for some strange reason, I'm sure I'll do it. But
Yeah,
that's
and the cool thing is that camp is hilly, right? So we train in the hills, so that'll help you prepare for Alcatraz for sure.
right.
Just because
No,
we don't
yeah, definitely.
have that.
I learned my lesson from the last time I did it. The swim is actually the easiest part of Alcatraz.
Yes. And the hills on the bike and the run are
Yeah.
quite brutal. So we'll be doing lots of strength training for those legs as well to help you prepare. And then I did want to talk to you about, so it's been 8 years that you're a triathlete. I don't know if you know the lifespan of a typical triathlete is less than 5 years. And I know what happens because I deal with athletes all the time that overdo it, go too fast, too far, too soon, end up injured, end up burnt out, end up divorced. And I want to know, how have you figured it out? Like, is the balance thing really, like, I feel like that's why you are with Full Circle Coaching, because I do promote balance in training. I do promote balance in racing and picking realistic goals that are not going to stress you out or your body out so that you can keep doing the triathlons forever, right? So can you speak about that a little bit? Like, how do you keep that balance?
Well, I mean, like you said, I don't have a big ego, so for in that aspect, and when I started doing this, especially the long course, my goal was always, and there was never really chasing a time.
Right.
It was just chasing the experience and being able to enjoy it and finish the race and just be able to continue on with life.
Yeah.
But a perfect example was, during COVID and all of that, what was a year. Basically, I had a year plan. I had signed up for, I want to say like 5 or 6 races, which were supposed to end at Lake Placid,
Oh,
and everything got flipped turned upside down. What ended up being a year plan became almost a 2 year plan. And I ended up doing my last race, which was Oceanside, in November, because that's the 1 year
oh, they had it in
that they
November.
moved it to all the way to November. So I
Okay.
did Oceanside, California in November.
Mhm.
And I decided, you know what? If I want to keep doing this, I need to take a break because I was burnt out.
Right.
So I took too long of a break, I will say, but I ended up buying a house and I had to focus on that. But I mean, that break was important. I think if I would have kept going,
Yeah, you
I
would have
would have been
been.
like, screw this.
Yeah,
So
for
yeah,
sure.
it's just about, finding your balance and knowing when to say when and dial it down. But it's also important to keep training because I
Yeah.
will say the the training to get back to my not so much to Ironman because I was already trained for Alcatraz, but to get ready for Alcatraz shouldn't have been as hard as it was.
Yeah, it's always way harder to come back after a long break than if you just keep a minimum base of fitness like all the time. You definitely take weeks off, days off, whatever the case is, but finding that balance so you're not completely doing nothing for too long because it definitely is much, much harder.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
I already like I'm not gonna be green on my
Right.
training peaks, but I already decided like next week I'm gonna get back to at least 3 4 times a week,
Okay, cool.
going out and doing something
Right.
so
And
that
then
I don't
let's
lose this.
let's talk real quick about the Ironman blues piece because I feel like it's a topic that's not very often talked about and it is a real serious depressive state that can happen when you're done training for an Ironman because typically you should be taking 4 to 6 months to prepare for this race. Your family is sacrificing, maybe your work is being sacrificed, maybe certain things in your life you're putting aside to achieve this goal. And when you finish the race and it feels amazing and you're happy with your time, and of course you want to analyze things like we do and go back and see what could we have done differently. You said this time you don't really feel those Ironman blues like maybe you've had in the past. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, I mean, one of the things and the reason why I don't is exactly what you said is I already had a plan in mind of okay, what's next?
Yes.
And I knew it wasn't going to be anything
Big.
big, but I wanted to make sure I had something
Yeah.
planned to go and do something else. And I also had decided, you know what, I don't want to have that, the big ebbs and flows. I'd rather kind of, you know,
The
take
middle
it
one.
easy, but not completely fall off
Yeah.
uh and get completely out of shape
Yeah.
was A. And B, I mean, I experienced it probably a little bit more than most people on the last races. Like I told you, it
Yeah.
was like literally you were by yourself.
That's sad.
And
That's
it
so
was, I was expecting fireworks you know, and all these amazing things once you cross that finish line, and it was
right.
like, bah, bah.
You got to go to Roth. You should do Roth if you're going to do one more Ironman. I heard it's like a party the entire time. So I heard there
Yeah,
are
I don't think I would do well in Germany. I wouldn't make it to the race.
because you would
I'd
be
probably
drinking
end
too
up
much beer.
wasted before I get there. Yeah.
You would be in the pub drinking beer the whole time before the race. So
Yeah.
yes, we know that. We know that. All right, Richard. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share? We're super proud of you. The whole group in Full Circle Coaching loves you. You are a huge inspiration for everybody with nutrition, with training, with the consistency. So congratulations. Yeah, is there anything else you want to say?
No, no. I mean, I gotta say the one thing I was a little bummed about not doing Maryland, but I gotta say it was great to have those young bucks
Yes.
there pushing me along and it was fun to have people to talk to on the race. And
Yeah.
so in that aspect it was sometimes the what you think is a setback actually ends up being a blessing. So that was really nice.
Yeah.
And I do want to shout out. I already did on the group chat, but I want to shout out Adriana and her daughter and
Yeah.
Gio's family and Carlos's family and Eddie's family.
Yes.
they were all out there cheering us on, and it makes a big difference. So
Yes. Having that support system makes a huge difference. And that's actually a good point to bring up is that we do have a group training for Punta Cana 70.3 next year. So if you guys are interested in a group program and having support on the journey, and we will be going live with the three young guys next Friday. So if you want to tune in for that interview, I thought it would be fun to do it with all three of them together, because honestly, guys, I have not had so many 20-year-olds interested in triathlon. And so I definitely want to encourage other 20-year-olds to do the same thing. And Richard, thanks for being the inspiration for them of what's possible and showing them an example of how cool and calm and collected it can be. Right?
yeah,
I appreciate that. All right, Richard, have an awesome day. I will see
you
you
too.
hopefully see you soon at practice.
I'll see you on Tuesday. I'll be
Okay,
there.
cool. All right, you guys, have an amazing weekend. Bye.
Bye.